Welcome back to Synergy Bonus. Three guys like to sit around, talk about games, and drink. And this game makes me drink a lot because it proves that these guys are monsters.
This is one of those games that Trav hasn't played, but we've played extensively.
The Sims!
Basically. But we're actually talking about Harvest Moon, Friends of Mineral Town.
The social experiment.
The social experiment, basically.
The Greg and Doug have determined we don't like this person.
So
Separate characters, and we're going to make their life hell.
So the basic premise of Harvest Moon is you've got your grandfather's farm, and you're here to make it lively and whatnot.
Well, this is a big franchise.
It is a big franchise. I
forget what it is. Something Motomonogatari, something farm story in Japanese.
Yeah. And this is one of the spin-off branches that went into it. And what was it, Story of Seeds or something like that?
Story of Seasons.
Story of Seasons. And this is considered the definitive entry in that spin-off, want to call it? Branch?
This one's for the GBA, and actually it very much closely resembles Back to Nature on
the PlayStation
1. Which was kind of an offshoot of the N64 version.
Initially released on November 17th in 2003. Developed by, I'm probably going to butcher this,
Natsume?
Marvelous Interactive, and then published by Natsume in North America.
Natsume did some good stuff, that's for sure. But the basic premise is, hey, you got a farm, make it thrive.
Your grandfather died, you've inherited this farm. You have 1 to 3 years, depending on the game, to make sure the farm works, which makes me really question this region's legal system.
But this game also lets you become a harvest master so you can play after the credits. And I love the games that allows the harvest master because things get weird.
Requires 10 ranks in profession agriculture and...
So
15 ranks in knowledge nature.
At its core, it is a farming simulator. You go, you sow your seeds for the season.
What do they call it? A resource management RPG?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But we do it and we do it well. And there are people who have done it with spreadsheets and just it's crazy.
Turnips everywhere.
Turnips. But the other part of the game is
turnip for what?
Travis.
I've decided I hate his character now, and I'm going to ensure that Trav's life is hell. I don't have to do a lot of work.
The other part of the game is socializing. We talked about this with Stardew Valley. Stardew Valley did it better, for sure. But this was a very strong entry. And the characters are memorable.
You got Mayor Thomas, you got his son, who's the mailman, or police officer, depending on the version. You've got Jeff that owns the store, and Jeff can't stand up for himself. You got Sabrina, his wife, and their daughter, Karen, who's an alcoholic.
Karen's the one I go for.
Karen's the alternate I go to. See, you've got the doctor, Alex. You've got his nurse, Ellie, who lives with her grandmother, Ellen, who may or may not be the original Ellen from Harvest Moon itself.
I think canonically it is. Also, the mayor of the game, what was his mayor?
Thomas.
Also looks like the mayor from the Powerpuff Girls. I'm thinking, Townsville needs saving! Oh!
And unlike 64, you can't kill Ellen by talking to her on a rainy day.
Another Yes, that happens. If you talk to her on a rainy day, she dies canonically. It's weird. Also,
farming simulator, and I'm figuring out how to murder people.
This game had an alternate version come out called More Friends of Mineral Town, which is the girl version, so you can pursue the male characters and whatnot. But
because at this point in time, everything has to be Pokemon.
Two things of note. One, you get a phone call. Hey, you just got a farm. Do you want it? No. Oh, okay, click.
Game over.
Credits roll. Second thing is, you go to the town, and the mayor just shows up at your house and he goes, what do you want to do? Attack him.
Hit him with a hammer.
So you'll go after him with a scythe, the hammer, and whatnot. He's like, I was prepared for you.
No, this is DS. That's DS where they reference.
Because
if you hit him in the hammer in the opening, you get a game over screen. Whereas in DS, they reference it where you keep attacking with all the different weapons, and then the dog gets him in the end.
To be fair,
let's be fair. If you're attacking him with a hammer and sickle, you've already eaten your dog.
Yes. To be fair,
that's how you use the axe.
There's something about the mayor that just makes you want to attack him. I don't know why.
He's a jerk.
I also tried to date his wife.
That would be reason for him to attack
you. Like, literally, at the harvest dance, I asked her, she's like, oh, there's other people you can ask. Like, she thought about it. Like, she legit thought about it. And I'm just thinking about Harvest Moon 64 now, it's like you're going to the Seed Festival where you go up in the hot air balloon, and you go up with the person you have the closest relationship with, and at the time, it was the first year, my closest relationship was with the mailman, and it was the most awkward thing ever.
Yeah, I went up in the balloon with Karen, because I kept showing her my dog.
That's what they're calling it. Anyways.
Show an alcoholic your dog enough, they'll like you.
So why don't we talk about the Bachelorettes?
I'd rather not talk about how much Greg enjoys dogging. That was for our English viewers. All two of you.
Well, first of all, you've got Potpourri, who no one cares about.
Potpourri is the sister of Rick,
who Doug has a pathological hatred for.
Every time he turns himself into a pickle.
It has to go and deal back with Harvest Moon 64, where Rick's store, which is the only place you could upgrade your equipment, would close for weird reasons.
Also,
Did the day end with why?
Also,
is it raining?
Also, you could buy, like, animal, like, potions for sickness. Like, because of him, he was closed on the weekends. It was raining. Yeah, if there's precipitation, he is closed. And if there's holidays, obviously he's closed and whatnot. So my cow died, and, like, everyone in town got mad at me. So I'm like, forever, Rick, you are a pox on society. So...
As a result, Doug has a pathological hatred of Rick, and we exaggerate to it. Is it a day ending with why? Rick's shop is closed.
Yes. But his sister's Potpourri, and Trav brought up an interesting little factoid of getting revenge on Rick, but I decided to not go that route and go with his sister, but go for his love interest instead.
We'll get there.
It's slightly darker, I suppose.
Next up, you have Maria. She's the the bookish nerdy girl.
So how do you solve a problem like Maria?
You give her poison stuff, I guess.
Yeah, she likes stuff like poison ivy and all that weird stuff. Her dad is Basil, the herbologist, or whatever.
Which makes sense now.
Yeah, and he's never in town because he's always off collecting herbs. And then next up,
no relation to Susie from Little Witch Academia, right?
No.
Okay.
Next up, you have Ellie, who may or may not be Ellen's granddaughter.
Which she has the hots for the doctor.
Yes.
That's his name.
And also, that means possibly, depending on...
Wouldn't you? He's got that little blue box and the sonic screwdriver. I'm going to keep doing this.
I know you're going to keep doing it.
Which means, potentially, if you played the original Harvest Moon, this may or may not be the original character's granddaughter. Awkward.
Very awkward.
How's that awkward?
Because you're Harvest Jack in both games.
Oh, you're Pete in this one.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Next Bachelorette.
He's running out of roses.
I thought there was... The tomboy.
Yeah, no, I was thinking, is there anyone before we get to the good ones? Maria, Ellie, Potpourri, the three trash tier. Then we've got my personal favorite, Anne.
She's the Tom.
In this one, she's not the mechanic that she was in the first game, and she's not the farm chick that she was in 64. She's a waitress in the bar that her dad owns, and she's a tomboy. And she's a redhead, so, yeah, my favorite.
Hey, 3 strikes. Greg's in, and out, and in again.
And also, I can go and make Cliff's life a living hell because, hey, you're only going to stay in this town if I become your friend. Oh, yeah, I stole your girl. Enjoy staying here.
Real quick, who is the rival for Maria? Or Mary? Is it Mary?
Gray the blacksmith's apprentice, who is...
Anne's...
brother.
Yeah.
No, and I'm actually friends with Gray, so that's why I also trashed him.
I don't, you can really start some shit in this game. Like, really start some shit with, drama.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was about to say, for the male, bachelors, it was Gray, it's Rick.
Dr. Alex.
It's Alex? I thought it was just the doctor. Whatever.
They've given him the name Alex in subsequent games where he's referenced.
Okay. And then there's this guy who only shows up in summertime, so if you can't get with the girl...
Kai.
I don't know what you're not even trying. But Kai shows up in the summer, and his love interest is Potpourri.
And also, if he gets together with her, she leaves for half the year.
And Rick's I like everyone in town except for Kai.
Which means Doug automatically likes Kai.
Kai's my best friend.
That's when you're like, Kai's actually a decent dude.
He
Rick,
is.
You're kind of being a douche.
Rick is always a douche, and I cock block him at every turn.
But next, the last Bachelorette, who we've referenced, drunk and show dog. Karen, the wino. Best looking.
Does she want to talk to the manager?
No, she doesn't have that kind of hair.
And again, depending on who you marry, depends on what they do around the farm for you, like boxing up the eggs or taking care of this or watering the plants, so on and so forth.
Or some of the weird events that'll occur, like if you walk into the bar late at night when you're married to Karen, Anne will come forward and say, "Please take your wife home. She's drunk and she won't listen." And Karen's kind of belligerent at that point. And,
there seems to be a lot of husband beating in this game.
no, she doesn't attack you, but she's belligerent and she won't tell the waitress to stop giving her beer.
So,
That's just alcoholism. But weren't you telling me earlier that if you don't marry the Tom girl, her husband has
That's
a
in
rough time of it?
64. If you don't marry Anne, she marries Cliff. And one of the events when you're a harvest master is Cliff shows up to your farm with a black eye. Because
I think it happens in this too.
Ah, well, girls will be girls.
But, yeah, that's another thing. Cliff, his love interest is Anne. So, basically, if you marry Anne, you're basically betraying his trust.
But if you marry Anne, can you Gilligan?
Oh, it gets even worse in this one because when he shows up, he's a drifter from nowhere and he's staying in good grace. If
He's
you
basically
befriend
staying at
him,
the church.
he's staying at the inn for free actually in this one. But if you befriend him, you not only get him to stay in town, you get him a job where he is working at the winery, Duke's Winery. In this one, because Duke doesn't own the bar.
Duke also looks like Jay Leno, which is amazing in a way.
Or like a Yakuza, really.
Yakuza Jay Leno.
But you get him a job regularly at Duke's Winery. Everything's looking like right for him. And then you steal his girl.
Yep.
Because I'm a psychopath.
That's great.
No, you're a trained sociologist.
Yeah.
Very little difference.
Which is even terrible.
Terrifying. Like the normal Harvest Moon, there's different town events and whatnot that happen. In this, there's hard events that happen for you, which happen in the other Harvest Moons. But this also has rival hard events. And, like, you basically, when you start seeing the rival hard events...
That means
that's about the time where you kill Eradicate in Lavender Town. No, wrong rival.
Okay. Kill his Rattata, which is the best Rattata. Top 1%.
Top 1% of Rattata.
Joey,
but basically it gives you your timeline. You got to work faster if you want to stop this from happening.
Basically, you're not the only person pursuing this paramour. Someone else is, even though they're a shitty band.
Yeah. So we talked about some unique events that have happened in this game too. Especially when you become the Harvest Master and stuff. You get this shady black market dealer that shows up from time to time, Wong, to sell you stuff. But like, there's some weird ass events that happen with him. Like, it's bizarre.
Any weirder than going out to visit the witch to have your kids turned into birds?
No, that's dark even by my standards.
Hey, that's the other thing. The Harvest Goddess can be married in this as well as the...
She is the most difficult one, which is why I left her out, because, oh god, that is difficult.
Actually, I don't think the witch is in this one.
No, the witch is in DS.
You can marry a Kappa.
Why?
In the girl version.
I really enjoy having my asshole sucked. I mean, is that...
Apparently.
Bring the cucumbers.
But a unique part of this town is, you're trying to gain money.
Oh god, it's a daikon.
And to get your farm to thrive and whatnot. And if you're really good on it, you can get golden lumber. Now, you can get one piece of golden lumber. Now, if you decorate your farm with just a ton of golden lumber, which you can do, which takes some time and whatnot, everyone in the town will show up to your house and yell at you because you're just flaunting your money now. It's kind of messed up. Like, they all start to hate you because you're just rolling in the freaking dough here. It's like, well, you wanted a successful farm, and this is pretty damn successful.
But if you get
think about it. If I wasn't doing good, you were going to kick me out of town in 3 years. Now look at all my money.
Yeah, well, if you're too successful, that means you're hoarding the wealth that other people could be having, and...
Shut up, Rick.
I like everyone in town except for Trav. Aside from the normal farming stuff and the other events in town, there's the mine that you can go to work up money in the winter.
Get upgrades material.
Mine.
Upgrade material.
If there was a mime in town, he would be the character Doug and I would hate the most.
Next game, Rick becomes a mime.
But Trev called it pretty good at the start there. It's pretty much time management in the game. Especially at the very start because you only have a rucksack of 2 spaces.
Wow.
Yeah, like it's rough.
And that's not counting your tools, though.
No, it's not. Like
Okay.
But
that's
like,
your
you can only
inventory
have 2
space.
items.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it is. And like your first goal is to save up that money to
Buy a new
Make your
backpack.
buy the backpack. And if you're trying to wine and dine Karen, she likes the booze, so that costs a little bit more.
Emphasis on the wine, not so much the dime.
Pretty much.
I figured out an exact science on how to actually go after Anne. She likes spa-boiled eggs. So, you save money to get a chicken as fast as you can in the game, and then
Every
you keep
day.
throwing eggs in the spa. It's like, go away. I'm cooking, I'm poor, I don't have a stove. Literally, until you upgrade your house, you don't have a stove.
And that's the cool part too. You have to watch the Home Shopping Network, and you can call 1 time a week to place your order and stuff to pimp out your house. It's great, and you can't get
This
married.
sounds abysmal.
And you can't get married till you have the big bed and just the big house. It's great. It's funny. It's hilarious.
This sounds too much like real life. No. These are the kind of things I play games to get away from.
Right, but this you can do social experiments.
This is also the kind of game where I go and spend all my time going out there chopping down wood, breaking blocks, and farming, and then realize, crap, I'm supposed to socialize. Here, take an egg. I like you. Take this thing you like. I must go back to farming now.
Ironically, this is how he dates in real life, too.
God, I would love to see like
Wait. What's
all
something
this-
Trav doesn't like?
a random ass pop figure.
He just wants me to leave town forever.
If you give someone an item they don't like, they like you less. Tip for life.
Anytime I think of a person not liking an item, I think of Legend of Mana with the Dead Bears, and they're like the words for displeased is gack. So I feel like anyone who doesn't like something should just say gack.
One of my favorite things to do was there's some animals you'll encounter in the wilds throughout the different seasons, and if you can pick the animal up just like if it was like a chicken or something.
What's the
One
problem?
time-
It was a porcupine!
I picked up a monkey, and I walked around
Hey,
town
that's
showing
trouble.
people this monkey. Hey, that's trouble. And I decided that day I was really tired of the mayor's shit. So I took the monkey, went into his house, put the monkey down, and walked out.
I see here I was expecting that the monkey had a discipline problem, so you took it home to smack it.
Now, the unique part about this game is you have pets that can't die. Certain pets that can't die. Your horse, your dog, your cat. Now,
There's a fantasy I can get behind.
I'm going to talk about a different Harvest Moon for a second here because, again, social experiments in Harvest Moon.
Oh, dear God.
So,
Did you leave a horse's head in Rick's bed?
Rick's not in this game. But
Gwen
Gwen,
asking you and Save the Homeland, did you do everything you could do to prevent this? No.
well, here's the thing. You can't kill your dog. Your dog can't die. But you can pick up your dog.
Do you hear that,
and
dog meat?
Walk to the end of the edge of the map. If you set the dog down, it registers as you killing your dog. Your dog is gone forever. Like, there is a glitch in the game.
What's wrong with this man?
But you also get the same response from Glenn.
There's 2 things. 1, you never kill your dog. 2, you never eat your dog.
Which, it's so weird, like,
That's actually a Magic card reference.
edge of the stage, like, it
It's
just,
probably a error coding.
like, because you set the dog down, and it looks like it slides down into the water, which normally would just pop the animal back
God,
up.
you just threw a bag of puppies into the river.
No, I didn't. I had the sloppy
Monster.
dog.
Monster.
I need to go home and reevaluate my life because that's even sad for me.
What I've done in other Harvest Moons is I've left my dog in the bar because I set it down because I was just showing it to everyone because you can just parade your animals around.
On the upside, this game doesn't have the dog races where you're basically training your dog to serve us.
Go!
Yeah.
Go!
Hey, there's no Michael Vick.
That's also plus. Well, that's...
I'm sad.
King
No,
Puckington Pug is disappointed in you.
I'm
You are not
sad.
a good dog.
I'm sad.
That's a low note. Come up with another funny story before we end
I'm
this.
trying to come up with another. We're talking about social experiments, and that was Gwen punching me.
You deserved it. You drowned your dog.
Via accident. That's the worst part. Like, for something you're not supposed to be able to do.
I had to set up that on a high note, and I left a monkey in the mayor's house, because screw that guy.
Does the monkey stay there?
No, when you leave, he despawns, but nonetheless, I think the monkey wrecked everything before it made its way out.
Like I said, I used to leave the dog in the bar just because I was
Yeah, but the dog registers as a character, so it stays.
But it'll stay in the bar, and like you'll be home, and all you hear is "arf, arf." I'm like, what? Oh, the dog's in the bar!
Well, on the upside, he's getting all of them yummy table scraps.
If he's anything like my old pit bull, he's probably getting a pint or two.
I agree with this dog.
That was the thing with my uncles. They'd go into the bar because they wouldn't let the animal in the bar. They come back outside with 2 glasses, one for themselves and one for the dog.
I was trying to think of any
Dog was a damn alcoholic.
No, we got Karen being drunk and belligerent in the bar. We've got harassing the mayor with a monkey.
I'm not hearing any high notes here.
We've got all of the crimes committed against Rick.
Talk to me about the music of this game. Let's go into...
Actually, the music for this game is phenomenal. Like, it really is. And, like, it's so ingrained into me. Like, I'll actually go to a festival in town, and, like, the town music from the game, it's just going through my head. I'm like, it's a festival day today.
Graphically, this is the Game Boy Advance, so I know it's not going to be fantastic looking or have aged well, but for its time, how does this hold up?
The sprites are great, but because it's on the Game Boy Advance, everything in the Game Boy Advance just has that washed out look to it. Yeah. Sprite-wise, everything is great. If you would see this on the Super Nintendo, I think it would be much more bright and vivid and clear.
That whole lack of a backlight.
For a comparison for sprite quality, I would go and throw out Golden Sun.
Yeah. Well, actually, better than Golden Sun.
Yeah, but I'm using that just as a base mark knowing Trav has played it.
Okay.
I've never played Golden Sun.
You missed out. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily advocate going back and finding a GBA and a copy of it to play at this point, but not having played it when it was relevant, you missed out. But that's another video.
You know, that's the thing, though. Like, the music's great. The control is good.
There you go. Talk to me about the controls.
Everything's good. Like, you have shortcuts. I mean, you know, it's a GBA. Hotkeys, you know. You whistle.
Shoulder buttons move through different inventory items.
As you press up in a shoulder button or whatever, you whistle. One whistles for your horse, one whistles for your dog.
One button picks up items. One button puts them in your inventory.
And
another button uses tools.
And if you hold another button and hit it, you eat the item.
Another whistle is for those girls that are just walking through town.
Well, actually, if you whistle at the girls in town, they just stop for a second. And that's anyone. Not
no catcalling.
Sounds like there is catcalling, in fact.
As far as like the maps and stuff
don't
themselves,
catcall Ann, she'll punch you.
They look very nice.
I kind of like it.
I can't. Come on. Greg has seen a cat, and he is like.
When you see a cat,
thank you.
When you see a cat in the street,
let's go back to farming now.
Damn, Ophelia.
But
for those who are keeping track, that's 3 cats so far.
I don't know what happens to them. I just pick them up and give them to people. Then I run away off into the woods to go and talk to the lumberjack.
But, you know, despite being what this game is, this game has a lot of replay value.
It's surprisingly enjoyable.
Yeah,
just like
starting. All the different paths of friendships and romances and so on. It feels like it does have a lot of replay value.
Unfortunately, since Stardew Valley came out and did it well and did it better. So
it was a love story to this.
So Natsume has a lot to work with.
The bar got set pretty high when Stardew Valley.
Then Natsume just started implementing all this stuff, which probably made sense to the Japanese market, but it made some of the Western market go, what? Like, hey, we have the Harvest Elves. It's like, what the hell are you referencing? Harvest Elves?
That's Swedish lore. You should know that.
We're not talking about the Drowned Man or the Hungry River or trolls. I don't care. Those are the things to keep the hell away from.
Although the harvest elves definitely make it a lot easier to get.
They can go and harvest on the day there's a hurricane.
Harvest elves are guardian yard spirits. Those transcend culture, like every major civilized culture in Europe and Asia, and even most of North Africa have
Like
some
long
variation.
House
more like
elves.
brownies, domovoys,
House elves.
house gummies. That's probably what they are, is house gummies.
No, they live in a little mushroom hut outside of, or behind the totally not a Catholic church.
No, those are absolutely lawn gnomes.
I'm not making it up. They live in a mushroom hut behind the Catholic church.
Next time on Minish Cap.
As we were actually talking about like the way the series went after this, and that's something that made some questionable decisions. The last Harvest one I actually played was A Tale of Two Towns, which
It was the best of times, it was the worst of times.
what's that?
I stopped playing before that, and also I go to a better place that I know not.
Yes, Charles Darnay.
I'm just referencing Charles Dickens.
Yeah!
Tale of Two Cities. Charles Darnay was the person. We're called to life.
Oh, Charles Dickens was the author.
Yes, I know. I was talking about the actual character in the book.
He got me. He
gotcha.
out-literatured me. This never happens.
But you can either be a animal farmer or you can be a crop farmer. Why am I holding your hands?
I don't know.
But yeah, crops are animals. And
Let's see. Trav's family had wineries.
No wineries, just grape farms, yeah. We're
Dairy farm.
We're botanists, yeah.
But like
livestock over there, botany over here.
But like for me, and I don't know about you, Greg, but I do a little bit of both in the game.
I will mainly use crop harvesting until I can work up to the point that I can do animal husbandry, mainly because botany is a whole hell of a lot easier to understand. You just have to understand basic crop rotation and all that shit. And but I'm getting off into weird shit that I picked up from my dad. Also, animals are really dumb. Cows are incredibly stupid.
And
There's
I guess
only one thing dumber than a cow, and that's a sheep.
And I guess if you want to say
There's
that
only one thing dumber than a sheep.
A group of sheep.
We are.
And I guess like if Story of Seasons counts as a Harvest Moon game, because I think it is put out by Marvelous.
Yeah, Marvelous Interactive.
It started to pick itself back up, got on the right track, and then Stardew Valley happened, and I haven't looked at Harvest Moon since.
I'm not sure if Story of Seasons came out after or before A Wonderful Life.
After.
Because A Wonderful Life got a lot of flack for it. I actually really enjoyed that one.
I had trouble with it, and we should probably talk about that at another time, because we can compare notes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So with that, good night, good gaming,
Good gaming.
and we'll be back with another Wonderful Life at some point.
Hey, thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed what you saw.
Let us know. Give us a like and a comment down below.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell to make sure you get all notifications from us.
And as always,
Good night.
and good gaming.